You are not lazy. You are not difficult. You are not broken. You are using one of 10 unconscious defenses that Anna Freud catalogued in 1936, and nobody ever told you their names. Repression, projection, splitting, sublimation, reaction formation, identification, regression, denial, projective identification, and the mature defenses that come after. These are not symptoms. They are the moves your mind makes every single day to keep you functional in a world that asks too much. Some of them protect you. Some of them keep you stuck. All of them run silently beneath the floor of your awareness. In the next 10 minutes, you will meet the 8 people who mapped the architecture of a human ego. 60 seconds for each. Then a synthesis you will not see coming. Stay to the end. Anna Freud, Vienna, 1936. She was 40 years old, the youngest daughter of Sigmund Freud, and she had spent 15 years in her father's shadow as a secretary, his nurse, and his only intellectual heir. That year she published The Ego and the Mechanisms of Defense. It was a quiet book with a radical claim. Her father had spent his career studying the unconscious, the dark cellar of forbidden wishes, and had turned the lamp the other way. She studied the ego, the part of you that has to live with those wishes, and she cataloged, for the first time, the 10 specific moves the ego makes when reality becomes too much to bear. Repression, projection, reaction formation, sublimation, identification, isolation, undoing, regression, reversal, turning against the self. She gave clinicians a vocabulary for the daily emergency of being a person. Her book is still on every psychoanalytic syllabus in the world. Sigmund Freud, Vienna, 1895. He was working with a colleague, Joseph Breuer, on the cases that would become studies on hysteria. And he noticed something that would haunt him for 40 years. His patients would arrive with paralyzed limbs, with sudden blindness, with chronic pain that no doctor could explain. When he asked them what had happened just before the symptom appeared, they could not remember. The memory was gone. But under hypnosis or through long, careful talk, the memory would return. And when it did, the symptom often disappeared. Freud called this active forgetting repression. The mind, he argued, has a force that pushes unbearable thoughts out of consciousness. Repression is the foundation of every other defense his daughter would name. Without it, no projection, no reaction formation, no splitting. Repression is the floor of the unconscious. The first move every other move depends on. Melanie Klein, London, 1946. She had spent 20 years analyzing very young children and had become convinced that the infant mind, in its first year of life, was already at war. Klein published a paper that year called Notes on Some Schizoid Mechanisms. In it, she described a defense her teachers had not seen. She called it projective identification. A person, she argued, can take an unbearable feeling, a feeling of rage, of helplessness, of contamination, and push it into another person so completely that the other person actually starts to feel it, and then act on it. Therapists feel it in the room. Couples do it to each other every day. A parent is calm, and the child becomes the explosion. Klein's defense is the reason a difficult person can leave you feeling crazy. You're not imagining it. The feeling in your chest was deposited there by another nervous system that needed somewhere to put it down. George Vaillant, Harvard, 1977. He had inherited the longest study of human life ever attempted. The Grant study followed 268 Harvard men from college in 1938 until death. Vaillant ran it for 42 years. He published a book called Adaptation to Life, and he did something nobody had ever done. He ranked the defenses, from immature, like denial and projection, to neurotic, like repression and intellectualization, to mature, like sublimation, altruism, humor, and anticipation. Then he watched across decades to see which men used which defenses and what their lives looked like at 65. The men who used mature defenses had longer marriages, deeper friendships, less illness, longer lives. The men stuck in immature defenses, almost without exception, did not. Defenses are not all equal, and the ones you use can be slowly, deliberately traded up. Heinz Kohut, Chicago, 1971. He published a book called The Analysis of the Self, and he did something heretical inside the field that had trained him. Classical analysis treated patients as boilers of forbidden drives. Kohut argued that what most people walked into a consulting room with was not forbidden desire, but a deficit, an empty place where a sense of self was supposed to have formed and never did because the people around them in childhood had failed to mirror them back. When that mirroring is missing, the ego improvises. It builds defenses around the empty place. Grandiosity, devaluation, idealization that collapses overnight. Kohut called this self-psychology. The defense is not against a bad wish. It is against a hollow that nobody filled in time. His insight changed how therapists treat narcissism. What looks like arrogance from outside is almost always scaffolding around an empty room, not gently. Otto Kernberg, New York, 1975. He published Borderline Conditions and Pathological Narcissism, and he gave a name to a defense that almost everyone has used in some smaller form, but which dominates one specific kind of suffering: splitting. The mind cannot hold the same person as both good and bad in the same moment, so it splits them. The partner who failed you yesterday is, this morning, all evil. By tonight, they're all good again. There is no continuity between the two pictures. Kernberg argued that this defense is the center of borderline organization. It also runs in milder form through ordinary jealousy, ordinary fights, the ordinary moment when somebody you love disappoints you and is suddenly, briefly, a stranger. Splitting protects against an impossible feeling: holding love and hatred toward the same person at the same time. Most adults learn to hold both. Some do not. Kernberg gave the rest of us a way to recognize the moment we slip. Nancy McWilliams, New Jersey, 1994. She had spent 20 years as a clinical psychologist and was watching a generation of new therapists graduate without a working vocabulary for the unconscious patterns sitting across from them. She published Psychoanalytic Diagnosis. It became almost immediately the textbook every doctoral student carried. Her contribution was deceptively simple. She organized people by their dominant defenses. Obsessive personalities lean on isolation and intellectualization. Hystera personalities lean on regression and conversion. Narcissistic personalities lean on idealization and devaluation. Schizoid personalities lean on withdrawal and intellectualization. Each character is, at its center, a particular tower built from a particular stack of defenses. The defenses are the architecture. When you understand which ones a person uses, you understand how to be in a room with them without making it worse. McWilliams gave clinicians the most practical defense map anyone has yet written. Phebe Cramer, Williams College, 2006. She had spent 30 years doing what almost no other defense researcher had done. She studied them empirically in living children across decades of growing up. Her book, Protecting the Self: Defense Mechanisms in Action, gathered the data. Children, she found, develop specific defenses in a specific order. Denial dominates the first years. Projection rises in middle childhood. Identification with the aggressor takes hold in adolescence. And in healthy adults, mature defenses begin to replace the immature ones, but only if life keeps demanding it. Cramer's most counterintuitive finding was that the people who continued to use immature defenses into midlife were also the people whose lives stayed unchanged. Defenses, she argued, are not static traits. They're practices. And like every practice, the ones you use most are the ones that grow. If you want to grow up, you have to notice which defense you reached for the last time you were hurt. 8 architects, 10 defenses, 1 question. If your mind has been making these moves for your entire life without telling you their names, what changes the moment you could see them? Almost everything. The defense that was running you in silence becomes a defense you can simply, quietly notice. You will still use repression. You will still split, sometimes. You will still take a feeling you cannot bear and project it onto somebody close enough to receive it. But now you will catch the move on the way down. And that is the entire difference. The defenses are not the enemy. They're the price of having an inner life at all. Anna Freud was not asking you to dismantle them. She was asking you to stop being unconscious of them. If you have ever caught yourself mid-move and chosen otherwise,